Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathleen Gibson, the Early Childhood Specialist here at PTSI. We'd like to thank you for joining us for Shoebox Thursday, Exploring and Learning Around the Home. During the session of Therapist Thursdays, we're going to discover new playtime activities using ordinary items many of us can find around the house. We have set aside time near the end of the presentation to go over any questions you may have. You can submit your questions through the chat box located in the controls near the bottom of your screen. And if you have any questions that are personal in nature, we will follow up over email. We will also share any additional resources with everyone afterwards. I'd like to welcome Dana Carroll, occupational therapist. Dana graduated from Nova Southeastern University with a master's in occupational therapy. She has lived in many places throughout her life, but her grandparents lived on the Eastern Shore, and she has always considered Virginia her home. In 2009, she opened Play to Grow to make a difference, not just in the lives of children, but the life of the whole family. She wanted to combine her passion of working with the birth to 3 population, empowering families using the coaching model and fostering playfulness in the daily routines of children with special learning needs. Staying true to who she is at heart, Dana loved all things kids, or loves all things kids and fun. She loves living in Hampton Roads and enjoys the beach, mountains, and the change of seasons. She loves serving in her church, in the community, and supporting and advocating for families of children with special needs. Dana, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. And thank you guys so much for spending a part of your Thursday here. I'm really honored to be asked. I love this organization. I'm so excited to share. It was really fun too. This is obviously, as a pediatric OT, specializing in early intervention, this is near and dear to my heart. So that forum to come share, I would want to share all the things. It would be like drinking from a fire hose if they just let me loose. So I'm going to try to rein it in. But we're going to have fun. If you were expecting a real formal PowerPoint presentation, you might be a little bit disappointed, but we will have fun because fun is the best part of being a child. So is play, which is how Play to Grow was named. Play is so important, and it's important for us as well as it is for our kids. About a year ago, maybe a couple, I've really wanted to share a lot of what I do. I've been practicing for 25 years, and since 2009, when I left my former company, I'd done schools, clinic, early intervention, but that is my passion, and being home with the families and just changing everything and being able to walk on that journey, hold hands with the family on that is just so good. But I really wanted a way to share. So I really wanted to start like an Instagram or some way to share. And then, life happens and I didn't. Well, then COVID happened and I knew parents are at home struggling. So I did finally start to do that. So I have a lot of just simple ideas of what to do with random things from your house. I always joke about like toys, trash, recycled toys. And so I don't want to duplicate any of that because you guys can go see that later. But what I thought I would do is share 2 kind of key concepts that I feel are just super important and life-changing. And then we'll have fun. And I have like all kinds of nonsense, random recycling bin stuff on my desk here. And so we'll go through some of that. But my first concept, toy rotation. So playrooms don't work. We'll have Toys R Us, the whole thing, and it doesn't work. And so in our society, the kids are bored, so we go buy more toys because we just need more toys. And I go into some homes and there's rooms full of toys, like every toy that you could ever imagine, and the kids don't play with any of it. And they are bored, but we don't need to buy more toys. What we need to do is pare down, extreme pare down. So the concept of toy rotation in a baby, think of like a play yard. I have a family and they have a little play yard that they have quite a few kids. And so sometimes the kids are in there. Well, if you put them in there and here, there's so many toys, look at all your toys, go play with your toys. Or an older child that, stays in like the living room. Okay, well, play with your toys, play with your toys. Well, they're, look at the board, don't want this. Well, if you take everything out and then just have a few. It's like Christmas morning. So there's lots of different ways to do this. I know this is all early childhood, so I want to, kind of a real quick kind of categorize. So with that young child in the play yard, put it all in a tote. Actually, rather than buying totes, I use diaper boxes because kids aren't interested in diaper boxes. If you have a space issue, you can stack diaper boxes anywhere and kids are not going to look in them because they're diaper boxes. And they make great stacking things for the back of a closet, garage, attic, or under a bed. So kind of bin up everything or bin up lots of things and then take out 4 things for them to play, and they will actually play with it and learn from it and explore it because it hasn't been there. We get that kind of older child in that huge playroom with like the kitchen set that they don't use anymore, and all the battery stuff, which that's a whole nother Zoom on battery toys, like all the Vita. There's a place for it for sure, but it's one-dimensional learning. There's only one way to play with it, and that's to push. And we have our kids that can perseverate on that, so it's push, 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 not functional. And also, just from a play perspective, you push the buttons and everything spins and dances, and all you have to do is sit there. You just don't. There's just nothing. You don't have to engage. Now they do teach your kids Spanish and all kinds of things, but just there's place for it, but not my favorite. Love things that you can manipulate and put in, take out, that kind of thing. So with that, back to that room with the kitchen set and all the things, when you move the kitchen set to the living room or to the bedroom or to the bathroom even, it's a totally different toy. Or if the kitchen is always out, put all the kitchen stuff away, and then when you bring it out, they'll actually play at the kitchen. Or just kind of binning. I've had families that we've literally toted up all their toys in big totes because they had that many and go away. And then one tote comes out for a week, a month, and a couple things go on the shelf. And then so within that one tote, some things go out and some things go into the bedroom and some things go into here. And then those things may rotate throughout the month. And it really depends on the child. It depends on the child how often things need to rotate. But it also is so helpful in teaching how to clean up. If you're done with, and you can even put them in totes. So pick a bin that it's time to play and it's time to have like mommy special time. Let's get out this bin, and it's the bin of puzzles, or it's the bin of an art project or something. So that just concept of toy rotation, you'll keep all your toys fresh. And then it is really like Christmas morning when you bring out a new toy. If you have older kids, that when you try to give away a toy that they haven't seen in 5 years, and you go to give it to a neighbor or nephew or something, and they lose their mind because they're like, oh my gosh, that was my favorite. Blah, blah. Yeah, you haven't played with that, but they play with it. They pick it up, maybe a rattle, and they're 10, but it's that new and novel concept. So we don't have to buy more. I think also toy rooms are very overwhelming and just not very functional. So toy rotation will change your life because your kids will then go play when there's something different. And we'll talk about later all the things that we can play with that, not buy, but paring down your playroom, the bedroom, the toys that are out in the living room. I can remember my husband said one time, can there be a room in our house that doesn't have a toy in it? Just one. Can we just have one that doesn't have things in it? But that concept of bringing 3 things down to the family room and then, rotating them around. It sounds like a lot of work on the front end, but it's life changing. So it's good on the down end. Second concept is the importance of movement. And we all have we don't all have, there are a lot of kids that, are like, oh my gosh, they're just pinging. They're just going. We need to get outside. We'll know like, okay, when we can't go outside, everybody gets a little cabin fever or whatever. And we think, oh, let's go wear them out. We'll take them to the zoo and run and wear them out. And yes, that is it is wearing them out. They get tired, but it's really a chemical change. And so our kids that have a hard time sitting still and focusing and listening and um, playing with an activity to completion, or they may be that just doesn't want to sit at the table and do their schoolwork since we're homeschooling, or they, their siblings are homeschooling and they're two, and they we can't, you know, they can't keep them occupied. One, toy rotation, you could, because you could pull out some they haven't seen in a while and then it's all new. But kids that need movement to organize, norepinephrine, dopamine, all of those chemicals are released when we have movement. And a lot of children and a lot of adults get all the movement, that all the chemical changes that we need just by our normal movement. We know, like, if we're sitting all day, we better get up and stretch, we get all that. Most kids get that in their typical day. We have the kids that are harder, faster, more, and they're, kind of the bull in the china shop. And we always have those under aroused kids too, that they need that movement to become more aroused. So movement benefits everyone for sure. But when our kids are struggling to do whatever we need them to do, think movement and heavy movement. Let's all stomp like monsters. Let's all get down, and we're gonna be kitty cats. Then we're gonna be bears, and we're gonna be snakes, because all of that is giving them joint compressions and it's organizing their brain. Let's all stand up and do a jumping jack. We're gonna all let's go outside and everybody run and touch the fence. Okay, now everybody run and touch the swings. Go find a pine cone. And for our little ones, we may have to modify that, but having that stop and start, our really little ones, they can be in a stroller, stop and start, go, 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 stop. And, as an occupational therapist, sensory integration is just such a big deal. It is so difficult to explain and to understand unless you've lived it. OTs we're notoriously not great at research, but when you know. I've been practicing a long time, and it's sometimes difficult to explain it. So I think when we hear, well, if you have any sensory needs, you need a rice bin and you need a trampoline, and then we're all good. Well, everybody's sensory needs are so different. There are some common things, though, when they're kind of high on that arousal level, typically deep pressure, little vestibular, run, jump, spin, jump on the couch cushions, make a fort, climb over something, is typically can be calming. Sometimes it's very arousing, and then you have to stomp and bring it back down to something slower to kind of calm. And that's probably for another Zoom. But the big wraparound part of that is movement, and why. The why is chemicals, and the why is organization of your nervous system, and being able to recognize, okay, we're getting ready to do, our older kids are getting ready to do some science. We are not in a place for anybody in the house to get any work done. We need to go outside real quick, or we need to lay on the floor and make a burrito in a blanket, or play the Hungry Caterpillar, roll them up. Oh, he ate the lollipop, he ate the pickle, he ate the blah, 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 blah. Those kids that need that type of pressure activity to calm. And that's a super fun way. And then they have to roll on out of it. And it's usually very calming and organizing. Kind of always call that feeding the meter. I want to make dinner. I want to do math with an older child. I want to breathe by myself or go to the bathroom. So how do I feed the meter? I'm going to feed the meter and give it, direct, uninterrupted attention, play a novel game, do some running, do some snuggling, do some deep pressure, run outside. Then we fed the meter here and can then move on to the next thing. So toy rotation, importance of movement. Like I said, I have been doing a shoebox Sunday. So on Sundays, I just take random things from around the house, toilet paper rolls, egg cartons, things like that, and then try to show throughout the week all the different things that we can do with those. So there are a lot of those on there. I'll keep adding them. I have kind of a random assortment. I don't really have an order, but I was watching the the Therapist Thursday from last week. We were talking about flashcards, and all therapists and teachers were like, flashcards. There's a good place for flashcards. And I think Jeannie had said that too. The great place for flashcards is not I'm at the potty. What's this? That's not good for flashcards. Great for flashcards, pick it up and throw it. Find it, put it in something, a cereal box, playing with them, manipulating them, looking at them, talking about them, counting the things. That's where flashcards are great, because like these are nice and hard. They're almost like matching cards. They can eat them. There's just so much language opportunity here to talk and to play and fine motor, to take two hands and flip it over, and it baby, and then on up, all the different things that you can talk about. Hat, find the one with the hat. Where's the green one? But not cupcake. Say cupcake, because that's not fun. It's not fun. So I love flashcards for that reason. And they're great dollar bin, typically, not these nice hard ones, but it's also nice because then you could just throw them away when they're yucky. But lots of different fun ways to play with those. Another one of my favorites, a dollar store lunchbox. Every holiday they had these little lunch boxes, and I always got stared at the doctor's offices because my kid would be sitting there with rocks in here. You're like, what's mommy have? And then, we would count the rocks, we would open and close, we'd line up the rocks, we'd stack the rocks, we'd do all the things with the rocks. So this is so valuable. It's gonna be like your little, grab your bag, we're going to the car, or it's time for your brother to have school, go get your lunchbox, because there's something special in there. And it may be some popsicle sticks. And then, there's popsicle sticks. What can I do with the popsicle sticks? And then there's, a bazillion things that they can do with them. But it's so nice to have that, gosh, what's in here today? And then even just watch what they do, what they find to do with the things. Sometimes they need to be shown. We can bend them, we can shake them, we can touch them, we can put them on our head, we can touch our nose. There's a million things. We can put a little slot in a plastic thing and put them in. We can put a teeny tiny slot for the older kids where we're really trying to get some dexterity and visual motor skill. And then a great big slot. Parmesan cheese containers are my favorite because you can grade that. We have the kid that needs a big space, kid that needs half space, and the child that's down to the single. So many things to do with popsicle sticks. I'll actually put a little link of my $10 at the dollar store, and I am a new person, list of things. Let's talk books real fast, because all the books that we have words. They have words way too early. There's unicorn kids that will sit on your lap and let you read a very long book. And they like that, and that's good. I mean, those are the kids that are going to be great readers. Anyway, they're all gonna be great readers, but that it's not very typical. And a very common way for a young child to read the book is like that. Just flip. And know your kid, but like, don't read the words. Like, just don't read the words, because look, he's going hop, and he might turn right past. But the goal kind of in that is, while they're on this page, look, there's a pig, and they might look at the pig. That's that joint attention. First, let's can we look at the same thing? If they're turning the page and we're like, oh no, stop, don't turn the page, they're gonna leave. We're not fun to read with if we're gonna control everything. So, but when they stop and they're visually scanning, oh look, there's the chicken. It's not what a chicken says. That's what a rooster says. And so, oh look, he's dancing, stomp, 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 and just kind of getting a little bit. And then there's, we can count those chickens. There's just so many things to do with the book besides the words. This is the best book of all times. And same kind of thing, if the kids that'll say, take your hand, which is great communication, and touch this so you can say baby, and then touch this so you can say bottle, and touch this so you can say baby. And so sometimes when they touch this and it's your turn to say baby, you wait, you pause, to pause. And in my head, I literally go, remember Dora? Dora would say, do you want to cross the river? So that's what we need to do. So giving them time and space. I'm a talker. I could talk all day nonstop. If I don't leave space, a child doesn't have any place to talk. So, you know, oh, I'm butterfly. Oh, he's flying, and hop, hop, hop. And then waiting and letting them, let me see, she might be telling me my time. Hang on. I lost my train of thought. Let me see. Are you telling me my time? How am I doing? Just trying to look at the camera. 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes. So anyway, read the words. Have it be a super fun vroom, vroom, beep, beep. And the very first skill is scanning. The next skill is, you know, you're looking both at the fire truck and you make a fire truck noise. And then where is the fire truck? They can point it out. And then what is this fire truck? So it's kind of that hierarchy of what has to come first. And when you say, you know, what is this? Too hard. So that's my thought on reading. You see some other stickers. We all have stickers everywhere. Stickers are so great because we can put them on our nose. We can put them when we're trying to work on using 2 hands. We can put them on one hand, the hand that they like to use or don't like to use, and they have to take it off. And then let's go put it on, let's put our tummy. Let's go put it on your brother. Let's go put it on the door. All of those kinds of things, just super easy. But we don't think about it as much. I always joke when parents say, oh, that's so simple. I should have known how to use that oatmeal container. Well, no, it's taken me 25 years and a master's degree to learn how to play with an oatmeal container. It's not common sense. It's you know, it's kind of a learned thing. Here's another, bubbles. Everybody loves bubbles. So many ways to play with bubbles. Like, it's a great language, great fine motor. We kind of know that because we can pop them, we can pinch them, we can clap them. But it's also gross motor. We can kick them. We can, the best for language, because you like the bubbles? Okay, and then you put them down and then they have to bring them, communicate more. B's and P's for bubble pop. First sounds, like it's just amazing, you know, activity. I love any container that has a top, because this is so great because we can open, close. We can stuff things in here. I'm not even sure what's in here. This is gum, a gum container. Oh, they're little puff balls. So, you know, and it looks like there's different sizes. So open, close, and if they can't open it, that's fabulous, because then they need you. They have to communicate. Open. And so you know, open it, and then that grasp and release to put them in. Again, that's kind of a smaller. Might need to take the top off for some of our kids and then make it smaller. And then, you know, even they can graduate to the little tiny ones if they're not going to eat them. I really love any container. Like, literally at my family's, and when I'm in their home, I don't throw that away. You know, the great big pretzel thing from Costco, don't ever throw that away. It's a water table. It's everything. You can do anything with that. But little metal containers, because then you get that open, close, you get the different sounds, beads in here. And, you know, a child that is having a tough day, you know, you've taken them out and it just wasn't enough. They're just, you know, we're all kind of feeling that some days, this roller coaster, lately, quarantine roller coaster of emotions, I think that we all have, and we know how to process those, and our kids don't. And just sad, you know, sometimes to think about it, but, you know, having a tough day, and then you come and they hear, I have something for you, you know. These are little animals from the dollar store, but again, like, I have to figure out how to get them out, and I open it, and then I can go put them in my wagon and, you know, do all the things. Little box. It's just such a fun little mystery. And then all of these things are blocks because they're all stacking, and you're working on, you know, visual motor skills, fine motor skills, perceptual motor skills, all of the things to, you know, to stack that. And kids will do this. Like, we just have to kind of give them the tools, and they don't have to come from Amazon. This is a coffee creamer. I'll never throw these away. It's a great caps in themselves. We can stack them. They're blocks. We can put letters on them. We can put stickers on them. Some are green, some are red. I buy orange juice just because of the containers, the tops that I like. Think of your laundry caps, all those different sizes and shapes, and how do they fit together. And even my kids would do math with them, you know, 2 + 5, and then they'd have to find the 7. Literally the best toy. I think I was talking about stacking. I was also talking about hiding. So we're working on pincers. So we open this and drop a Cheerio in, and then can go find it. So just such a lot of just watching their problem solving as they realize how that hinges up and down. So great. How am I, Kathleen, on time? I know I want to have some time for sharing and questions.
Yeah, we have 3 minutes to 2 o'clock, and so we do want to respect everyone's time.
Mm-hmm.
We had one question, and it was about occupational therapy in general.
Okay.
So how does occupational therapy benefit my young child?
Because it's the best ever. No.
Not biased at all.
Yeah, occupational therapy really, you know, in working with, I was a teacher, and then OT-PT speech in the realm of early intervention. It's the more global. So PT is predominantly motor, speech predominantly language. OT, we work on language, play, motor skills. So it's kind of function, all function, particularly in that birth to 3 population. And the way we work in early intervention in Virginia with the coaching model, we are cross-trained, transdisciplinary. So, you know, I'm working on the language, I'm working on the motor, and then there might be a time when I need to bring in a more specialized language. But OT kind of is that middleman, and maybe it's because I'm an OT that I think that we really kind of cover it all and function, but it isn't. In adults, it's very, you know, PT is kind of walking, and OT is your arms and hands, and not really like that with kids, because there's that huge sensory component that OT is very, you know, just very, very strong in, and you know, kind of lead the show with that.
A very tactile, gross, and fine motor development.
Mm-hmm.
And
and feeding, for sure. Feeding, like, it's really everything. Movement, feeding, just kind of function. And then obviously dressing, eating, you know, all of those types of things.
I told my son's OT that I was always jealous because it looks like all she really gets to do all day is play.
Yes.
She said if that's really all she could do all day, she said it was the best job. Absolutely. Well, Dana, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing these fun and meaningful ways to develop skills and use the things that we have around the house. In our house, we love playing with boxes. I don't know that you mentioned boxes, but we really love boxes in our house. And one of my fondest memories is building a telescope out of a paper towel roll. We like to look at the stars and look around the house, so that was really fun.
Yes.
And I think
I think I did a shoebox Sunday on paper towel rolls and toilet paper rolls, and so there's a lot of that. And I don't know, can you share that Instagram, Kathleen?
Yes, I'll send everyone an email with some follow-up resources that we've discussed. So yes, I will definitely do that, and just really understand the value of playtime with those objects. So I know we've talked a lot about that, Dana. So I just want to let everyone know that next week's session of Therapist Thursday will be providing practical tips on supporting and encouraging positive behaviors at home. So you don't want to miss it. To view past sessions, you can visit our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com /Pizzi Virginia, all spelled out. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon, and we wish you all a happy, healthy week.
Thank you.